sports, guys. Top of the table race series. We're going to go into the 5 and 10. Normally we finish with this. We're going to do it now. I want to get it over with. I think it's going to be a good 5 and 10. We're going to keep it crisp, all right?
I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, topic number 1. We don't need to belabor it too much because I don't want to get into the ins and outs of contractual things and all this stuff. But the NBA labor talks. The big story to me is it really is a non-story. Think about how much people were talking about the NFL labor talk. I mean, every sports center they talked about it. Every day there were people calling up the Fan and calling up ESPN Radio. We talked about it a bunch. I mean, is it because the NBA just is nowhere near baseball and football? I mean, people are trying to make, even the NBA fans are trying to make excuses. Well, you know, it's not really, you know, it's still, you got play Major League Baseball, you got NFL, but are they that distant in third?
No.
Because it wasn't like that in the 90s. The NBA was.
I mean, they're at least a distant second, but I don't think that much worse than baseball. But I think, here's what I think the
Major
problem
League Baseball, they missed opening day. Think about how big opening day is.
But that's what I'm saying, too. I think here's the problem. When football, there was a lockout, people believed that the players were right, that these owners, they make a ridiculous amount of money because they know how much the TV contract is. There are teams out there that honestly say, and people believe them, that they are losing less money by not playing games than if they were to open the stadiums and play these games. So people they're like, you know what, these basketball players are selfish anyway. This is the problem with basketball having that thug mentality and everyone thinking that they're selfish because now the average fan like you and I would say we're average fans, you're looking at it, you're like, you know what, those guys are selfish anyway, whatever, I don't care.
You are a much smarter business guy than me. How is it possible that they don't make money? You look at a football, I mean, granted, the TV contracts for football are so big, but you think about the amount of money that goes into a football team. There's 53 active players. There's a huge practice squad. You got all this. They only have 8 home games to make money. The NBA has 12 people on their roster. 12.
Yeah, but it's...
And they have 41 home games.
But
how do you not figure
you're
out...
You're saying the TV is such a different multiple. They don't share it.
You're talking about paying 12 people. They don't pay minor leagues. D-League costs nothing. How are they not making money?
I didn't say... I think
how are they not? How are you as a business model? I have 12 main employees. I'm paying a lot of money. So you have a coach. You have a coaching staff.
I'm gonna tell you right now. We talk about this.
41 home games.
But even in baseball, we talk about it. The fact that there are baseball teams in big markets, including the Mets, that they can't get a buyer because they don't make money, and it has to do with
25 people and all baseball.
That's not that.
Baseball's got 5 levels of the minor leagues that they have to pay for. They have to account for. And the major leagues, that costs a lot of money. I don't care about their salaries.
Those teams are individually owned, those minor league teams.
I understand that, but you're talking about the contracts and all. I mean, they're paying these people.
I believe it's because if you go to Sacramento, for example, the TV revenue is 0.
Yeah.
Who knows what they can charge for a ticket? I don't know, but I'm sure it's not a lot.
So then, isn't the answer to just contract?
No, because you don't. No one's going to want contraction because you're going to have these markets that clearly in good when they were good with Chris Webber, they thrive. But I think just the model's gotten out of control.
Is it the model or is it the fact that they just can't?
It's the model of the players. I told you. I remember telling you this many weeks ago. The players want an 8% raise when the proposal is for like a 30% cut.
Yeah.
Like
they're not even close.
But that's what I'm saying. They're so out of whack. In football, it was never that out of whack. It was just a matter of like how much of the pie are we going to each have. Right. The players think they deserve more when they should be getting less. It worked in hockey. Hockey's actually working, even though nobody cares about hockey.
Yeah,
they're doing well because
nobody cared.
But they're doing well because they realized, both sides realized we need to all take a cut, and that's what they're doing. And these players are so selfish they won't, but they're gonna break because those guys are way too selfish and they spend way too much money. They will break, no doubt.
The thing with basketball, different than all the other major sports, though, we've already talked about. You have other options. You go play in Europe,
play overseas,
and even these crazy little pickup games. They fill up these gyms.
But the problem with that is...
there could be... That's the only sport that I genuinely think there could be a spin-off league that could catch on. Some guy, Mark Cuban, go out and say, I'm going to put $500 million and I'm going to start my own league.
But
and I'm going to make it 16 teams. I'm going to crack all these people and they're going to get paid. And no other league could do that.
No, you're right. But I disagree with you because a guy like Mark Cuban already owns a team, so he's not going to go against his owners. So they need to find a billionaire. But the reality is, the people only want to see these all-stars play.
Yeah.
They don't care about... So what's going to happen is these middle ground guys are going to be like, I need to get paid. And a guy like Andrew Bogut, he can't go play overseas because he can't insure his contract if this lockout ever does end. So
Yeah.
the guys like that at some point are going to cross.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't have another option.
Yeah.
And that's what
Maybe it's just interesting to me that you're not hearing a lot about it.
Yeah.
Today, Francesa had the head of the the owners rep on, and I didn't turn it off. It wasn't even interesting to me. It was pointless. All right, let's move over to baseball again. We've talked a lot of baseball, but we got to talk a little bit about what's going on with the Red Sox. Huge article today in the Boston Globe.
Great article. Anyone who care about baseball, got to read it.
Got to read it. It almost was like, too much, but you talk about Francona. He was living in a hotel.
Addicted to pills or something?
He was addicted to painkillers or pills or something going on. Whatever he had, some sort of pills. The three big pitchers, you had Lackey, who was terrible. You had Lester and Beckett. In their off days, they're eating fried chicken and drinking beers and playing video games in the locker room. And nobody could rein them in. And now, you got to think that Tito Francona is saying, look, I'm trying to find a job right now. Who's going to want him? Granted, he did a lot of great things, but with a very good team. Who's going to want him to come take over their team when he couldn't control these guys? How are you not able to control John Lackey, who's having the worst season of his career, the worst statistical season that a starter for the Boston Red Sox has ever had? How are you not able to get through to him to say, hey, don't do what you're doing. It's not working. How are you not able to do that? And you had guys like, the Jason Varitek, who's the captain of the team, and they're saying, well, that's not the kind of leader he is. He's not the kind of get-in-your-face type leader. Well, then you know what that
Remember
means?
I said to you, where was Jason Varitek? He doesn't hit, so why doesn't he just lead?
Because they said he's not that type of leader. Well, then that means that those passive leaders really aren't leaders. Don't give me that they're leaders. They're not leaders.
And he's not a good player, so what's he doing? If you can't lead by example...
Then it's pointless. So don't give me...
Get him
So
off
that
the
almost
team.
goes to the argument with Jeter that he doesn't get in people's face, he leads by example. No, he's just a very good player. Doesn't make him a great leader because Varitek was the Red Sox answer to the Derek Jeter of he's a veteran, he's a leader, he leads by example. Well, that leading by example doesn't work when the guys are making $90 million.
But you know what? I think the problem that Francona had, a lot of that stuff, anybody that ever leaves Boston always gets killed. Nomar got killed. I think the problem that Francona had is that all these baseball guys were of that, well, everything evens out. So he didn't want to be crazy and be like, no more eating fried chicken and drinking. We've been doing this for 2 years and it was working. And to some extent, he's right. It worked the whole year.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, now the reason that Josh Beckett can't beat the Orioles is because he drinks in his off day? No, it's not. But you know what? At some point, does Josh Beckett need Francona to be like, dude, come and sit in the bench and root for us?
He's always had that reputation of being a bratty guy.
But I'm using Josh Beckett. John Lester. You need to tell John Lester, I got news for you, John Lester. You can't get anyone out in a big game against the Yankees. You got knocked out in the second inning.
Right.
You can't figure out, hey, maybe I should just show.
Well, they don't think that that's the reason why. That's not the reason why I'm not pitching well. But clearly it is. I mean, clearly it impacts your performance. You can't do that. These pitchers, you look at like a Roy Halladay.
It's the same thing. People say, Girardi was saying this about Sabathia. He's like, well, when he pitches well, nobody cares that he's fat. When he doesn't pitch well, it's like, you know what? Because at some point, it does catch up to you.
There's a reason why
when he's 25 and he's fat, it's not a big deal because he's just strong enough to overcome it.
If it didn't matter, then nobody would work hard. Nobody would bust their ass in the weight room and do all that stuff. It does help.
Yeah.
Topic number 3, I'm going to let you rant a little bit about your Oakland Raiders.
Rant? There's no rant.
The Oakland Raiders,
This is a love fest.
Are we ready to say that they're for real?
No.
And they're a playoff team?
No. And that's how you know I am, that's you and I am the opposite of a homer. My problem with them.
What is your problem with them? I'm looking at them as an outsider.
Anybody that watches any highlight, how does every one of these game ends? Tell me, how does every one of the Raiders game end? With a drive,
10 people on the field
with an opposing team driving down the field.
10 people on the field and still had a pick, and then the guy's laughing.
An opposing team driving down the field, and I mean driving. They're going from the 3 to the other 3
to the house.
There's at least 2 or 3 penalties. Mike T was watching the game. He's texting me. We're texting back and forth. Roughing the passer. Ooh, nice play. Nope, that got overturned because there's 15 guys in the field. Schaub starts to run in. I mean, the problem with them, I have no problem with their offense because when a guy like Denarius Moore doesn't make a catch, then all of a sudden Hayward Bay gets 99 yards. Hugh Jackson is an offensive guy. He still doesn't coach any discipline. For some reason, like you said, I don't know why the Raiders can ever be disciplined.
Yeah.
And they don't know how to play a stifling defense. When you need to stop, they continue to let teams just go 15, 20 yards. They don't let guys go 5 yards on the field. Every pass in the last 2 minutes is 17 yards, 18 yards, 12 yards.
Here's the thing I'm going to say about them. Okay, fine. You're naming all their faults. Well, give me the 2 wild card teams out of the AFC.
No, you said, are they for real? Are they going to
win?
win?
And I said they're a playoff
Their
team.
offense is for real. Oh,
Are they a
are they a
playoff team?
playoff team? Yes, they are. A
So they're a playoff.
team.
I mean, I'm just saying right now, the
But
Jets don't look like a
have-
playoff team.
They have all the.
I don't know if
makings.
you're going to believe in the Bills, or you think the Bills are going to have finish with a better record than the Raiders.
Here's
I don't
my
think
thought
so.
on the Raiders. The Raiders are the type of team because they're so crazy, they can get super hot and they're just going to get all these breaks and continue to stop people at the last second, or at some point, and probably it's going to be at a very inopportune time. They're not going to be able to stop a guy in the 3, and those last 3 years are going to get it. It's going to kill me.
Yeah, well, the Bills, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, topic number 4. Again, we could be very brief on this. Tommy Castudo is a friend of the show.
The Gooch.
The Goocher he texted me and said, "Did you see Jose Reyes on the cover of ESPN the magazine?" This was last week, and I said, "I haven't gotten it yet." He goes, "Go online." You go online. There's a naked picture of Jose Reyes swinging a bat on the cover of ESPN magazine. And then you look into the magazine, and it's just a bunch of naked pictures of athletes.
Hope Solo.
Is there a worse magazine than ESPN the magazine? I mean, and I'm not even just saying sports magazine. I'm saying my wife reads the junk Star magazine. I would rather read Star magazine than read ESPN the magazine.
Star Magazine is actually interesting.
It's interesting
It
to-
broke the news of Ashton Kutcher's demise.
It did.
All the credit
That's
in the
what's
world
sitting
to
on my
Star
coffee
Magazine.
table right
Yeah,
now.
absolutely.
The texts, the tweets.
Yeah.
There was, she had a lot of issues going on. ESPN the magazine, you can't find 10 pages out of that gigantic.
That's readable.
That's readable.
I've told
That's
you this.
entertaining.
I've told you this before. I'm a subscriber to ESPN Insider because I like to read the stuff online. And in order to get it, they say, oh, well, you get a free subscription to ESPN magazine.
Mm-hmm.
I hate the magazine so much. I look everywhere. I called them, say, listen, I will pay you the same amount of money. I'll pay my whatever it is, like $39 for the Insider. I don't want the magazine. And no, you can't unsubscribe.
They want the
and if
circulation.
there's anyone out there, please, I'll get you a
take
T-shirt.
Osama Abdel
I'll
Helmo.
get you a T-shirt if one of our followers can tell me how to unsubscribe from the magazine only. If you could do
You
that,
should change their address to some listener that wants it, and they could be.
you're
Osama
exactly
Abdel
right.
Helmo.
Nobody can possibly want it. It's awful.
You know I'm a big bath guy. I like to take baths. I'm a big bath guy. Every night I go home.
First of all, I don't know that. How would I know that? That's
I thought we
weird.
discussed it.
You
I
take
get the
baths?
salts. I get the
Get it?
salts.
Is this a joke?
I get the bubbles.
This has to be a joke. You're here spitting tobacco. Now you're telling me about salts and
Every
bubbles?
night I make myself a little cocktail.
No, you don't.
This happens. This is not. I thought you knew this about me. I thought
God
we were
bless
close
you,
friends.
Erica. God bless you.
I set it all up. I get the bubbles out. I get the
Fast
salt.
forward this part. I don't want to hear this part. That's weird.
So I like to read magazines in the thing. So I get Rolling Stone. I get Sports Illustrated. And some days I'm like, the only thing I have is my ESPN the magazine. I can't even turn that big magazine into a full enjoyable bath for Mike Bowe. I can't even do it because you can't. It takes too short. I can't.
First of all, it's huge. It takes up your mailbox.
You can't
It's
fold it
inconvenient
right.
for
It's
everybody.
all like you don't
it's
know.
inconvenient for everybody.
Hard. Yeah, it doesn't fit right. It clogs
Oh,
up
it's
your whole
awful.
mailbox.
Awful.
Take me off the list. I just want to
Yeah.
be an insider. Take me off the list because it's horrible. All right, we got to finish strong. Huge game for Norwalk High this week. They played the New Canaan Rams. I think they're 7th in the state, New Canaan. Now New Canaan,
Are they the Rams?
the New Canaan Rams. New Canaan, they the last couple weeks they played Fairfield Ward. Our boy, friend of the show, Devin Lofton, had a big game against them. They had a lead against them. New Canaan found a way to win. Last week it was the MSG Varsity Game of the Week. They played Brian McMahon in
Yep.
Norwalk. Brian McMahon had them beat. They up 2 scores in the
I'm
fourth
ready.
quarter.
I am ready for this.
They got a great quarterback. The kid's going to play some Division I somewhere. I think he's going to UPenn or something. He's going to play.
Sure.
Can the Bears win this game this week?
Here's what I know.
Go ahead.
I know that we tried to have Coach Moose Ireland on, and he doesn't even have time.
He don't have time.
He listened, and to his credit, he
We
gets
filmed
his
this on a
team out.
Wednesday night. He's got to be in the film room right
Hey,
now.
are you kidding me? He's not even close
They
to
like
seeing daylight.
they like to spread you out. They get the guy takes it's all shotgun.
Yeah.
They throw the ball 40 times a game.
Here's another thing I know. I coach baseball for New Canaan. These kids, they're not tough. I love them, but they're not tough. They said only 50 guys went to that McMahon game. They're gonna get punched in the mouth. Come
They're
Friday
talking
night.
about
They're gonna
a
get
crowd similar to the Norwalk High McMahon Thanksgiving game crowds. This
All I
week.
know is they're gonna get punched in the
everybody.
mouth.
Everybody's listening should go to this game.
And if you think
We're gonna
Tomar
get thousands
Joseph,
of fans there.
Tomar Joseph isn't running 2 or 3 people over, you have not seen that
There
young
was a
man
play
play.
in last week's game against Trinity.
He carried
Tom-
7 guys. Moose told me.
7 guys into the end zone. He had 2 more scores.
Give me a score real quick. Give me a score.
Honestly,
Yeah.
28-10, Bears. I think it's not even close. I think they shut this guy down because they're too athletic on defense. They're not going to give up these kind of yards that he's been throwing against.
I think it's 15-0. Put it in the books. 15-0.
All right, when we come back, we're going to get into some more baseball talk with the Tri-State Sports.
15-0.